Ladies and gentlemen, we have yet again another very important video to dive straight away into, and that is all surrounding the part 5 of the missing World Finals trophy. We most definitely have some very good evidence to pick through here, getting closer and closer to uncovering the criminal who ended up stealing this trophy. And on top of that, this whole theory surrounding a supervillain update coming to Brawl Stars, with it potentially a new supervillain brawler, is still up in the air and still running. Actually being presented in this part 5 to the villains that are behind the World Finals trophy, and maybe potentially leading us to this update around the corner. We're going to be getting into everything you need to know here in this beautiful part 5 of the mystery. Hope you guys are pumped up. Let's get straight away into it. Here we go! So everybody, before we get straight away into today's video, if you guys have been enjoying this ongoing mystery, please consider subscribing to the channel. We are now way too deep into this mystery and trying to uncover it to quit now. So you already know your boy is going to be sticking this out all the way through until we find some closure on this mystery. So yeah, make sure to stay tuned. But with all of that out of the way, I don't want to waste another second here today because we have a ton of things to break down and dissect with this part 5. As you guys can see, we are beginning today's video off over here on the official Brawl Stars esports Twitter page to watch this part 5 together, so we're on the same page. If you guys haven't seen it yet, then we'll break it down thoroughly together. But here it is: Where My Detectives At? Who Stole the Trophy? The Lair, part 5.
The trophy, it's gone!
Maybe you should ask someone who wasn't at the party that night.
Dark Lord Spike, our evil plan is working. She has followed her orders. Distractions are in place. Soon, the trophy will be ours, and the tournament will be ruined!
So it's easy to say things are getting very interesting here with this part 5 of the mystery. We finally get a glimpse of the masterminds behind the stolen trophy, but not the actual person who stole the trophy itself, just the evil villains. We are finally brought into the evil lair, introduced to the masterminds behind this plot: Virus 8-Bit, Evil Gene, Archvillain B, and Dark Lord Spike. All the evil-ish characters that we have here in the game. But that's not all. We have other really interesting things to dissect here. First things first, taking a look at the screen that Dark Lord Spike is looking at. Basically, the game plan for stealing this trophy and the evil plans behind it. We have distractions. Keep them busy at Frank's party. Dark Substance, Bandage, Wrestling Belt, King's Crown. But then we move along to the to-do list, where things start getting very interesting if you ask me. We have Recruit the Girl, Give Her How to Be Evil book, Commence Operation Trophy Thieves. So this narrows down a ton who the culprit can be who ended up stealing the trophy, right? All the boy characters inside of Brawl Stars are now out of the equation. It has to be a girl based on what they have on their to-do list. Now this could be a mistake, which we will be getting into a little bit later on in the video here, but the final thing to break down is the fall guys. I'm assuming the people that they are trying to blame so that the other people won't take the hit, the actual culprits, which makes a ton of sense. A ton of people thought it was Edgar, myself included, at the, I believe, part 2 of the mystery. M's, a lot of people were suspecting because of the bandages that were found, as well as Carl, the person holding the trophy. Countless videos were being sent to me over on Twitter of the Carl picture in the party, but I don't think it would have been that simple, which, as you guys can see, being confirmed here, Carl is a fall guy. But if we continue further on in the video, we see the culprit. Their hands are on the trophy being delivered to this evil lair, the top left-hand corner, delivering it to your door. As the trophy gets closer and closer to this evil lair, we see up here in the top left, your driver is redacted. Interesting, but then the video wraps up with some maniacal laughter with a group of evil villains here in the game, and my favorite portion of the video at the very end, Spike seeing that he doesn't have a voice, he must partake in this evil laughter as well. He has a voice box to do it for him, laughing his butt off. So freaking funny, man. Now, you may have thought that that was the end of the juicy evidence coming from this video, but at the very end, arguably one of the most important points to take note of, we see some of the suspects for this mystery start to fade away, i.e. the guy characters, because they are ruled out of the equation, and we are left with just the girl characters. But if you take a closer look, maybe by mistake or maybe intentionally, we have a guy character amongst all these girls, and that is Sandy. Now, as we proceed here in today's video, we are once again calling upon the help of Tyrannical Turnip, one of the absolute best theory crafters here when it comes to Star Park theory crafting or WKBRL theory crafting. Again, I cannot recommend enough if you're a fan of Star Park theory crafting or the lore of Brawl Stars to watch this documentary, 37 minutes and 46 seconds. Brawl Theory, I mostly solved Star Park. It'll blow your mind. It is such a good video. But with Tyrannical's introduction out of the way, we are going to be breaking down his analysis of this part 5 and what he thinks of this mystery who ended up stealing the trophy, starting at the very top here. Now, it seems that I was mostly right about the villain thing, although it wasn't a villain and instead was the villains recruiting a different brawler. Now we know for a fact from the hand in the reflection that the person who stole it was wearing a golden bracelet. Only 3 brawlers in this game wear a golden bracelet on their left hand, and as only 2 of them are female, that leaves us with Tara and Amber. The hand that Turnip is referring to was found in part 4 of this mystery, as you guys can see in this panel on the bottom left hand corner. After the hole is cut to steal the trophy, we have this hand reaching in with a golden bracelet there. So much like he said, it leaves us only a few different brawlers to be the culprit. But we continue on here with the second paragraph as Tyrannical debunks Tara being one of the culprits. Let's go with Tara first. One notable thing is that all the villains are skins: Dark Lord Spike, Archvillain B, Evil Gene, and Virus 8-Bit. Now, Tara also has a skin which just so happens to be evil. Misfortune Tara we saw in the Gold Arm Gang animation. She helped Belle rob the bank. He then continues, but then again, she also has a hero skin, Street Ninja Tara, who we see presumably fighting 8-Bit alongside Heroine BB, a hero. Pair that with the fact that we can see Street Ninja Tara's cards in part 3, and the fact that she helped give hints as to who was behind all this, I believe it's safe to say that she can be ruled out. Now, I think this is a really great point that Tyrannical gave to all of us, seeing that these cards are from the Street Ninja Tara skin, not the base model skin. It may be a subtle hint that Tara is kind of in her hero mode, assisting with this investigation, even though she's in her base model skin in the animation. I think maybe to kind of throw us off and to suspect Tara because she has her golden wristbands on her base skin. Just pointing it out here over in Brawl Stars, as you guys can see, the base model Tara cards are blue, and then Street Ninja Tara's cards are pink, which can be seen in the part 4 of the animation. But continuing on here with Turnip's thoughts. Now, at first glance, it seems obvious that it's Amber. We have the oil from Amber Super, which could have been the dark substance. She is a girl, she's a human, which matches the hand. She wasn't at the party, and I mean, she pretty much is the main character of the championship, considering she's the first character shown in the esports promotional animation. But me and my friend, and pretty much my co-theorist Aruxa, were talking, and all this just seems too obvious. I mean, they already cut the choices in half by removing all the men from the equation, and all of that down just to 2 choices, and so far there's just so much to point to Amber. So once again, Tyrannical is bringing up some really solid points here. If you guys haven't been following this story that closely, in the previous parts there were certain criteria that had to have been met for the person who actually stole the trophy. In part 2, there was some different bits of evidence that were found, namely one important one was the oil that was spilled or dark substance, so pointing to Amber in that situation. The accomplice had to have been absent from the party that was held during part 3 of this mystery. In part 4, the person had to have had that golden arm bracelet, which then whittles it down even more, and now here in part 5 it has to be a girl, so all of the evidence is pointing to Amber here. But as we move along here, we take a a look at Tyrannical's thoughts on this as he tries to debunk Amber as well. So taking a look here, but if it wasn't Amber, then who else could possibly have done it? Well, just hear me out. Look at the end scene where all the male brawlers are removed from the screen, but one male brawler is left. Sandy, the third brawler with the gold bracelet around their arm. If we take a look at the getup that Sandy's in, it most definitely fits the description of the hand that is reaching in, but one main thing is that Sandy is not a girl. But as we continue on with Tyrannical's explanations here, I cannot be the only one when Sandy was first released misreading him for her. There was so many different times in my videos that I was saying her instead of him for Sandy, and I think it's largely due to his clothing, right? He's kind of hidden a little bit. He's sleepy, right? It kind of looks like a girl. But continuing on here, the very last paragraph, I was looking at the description of Sandy, and he is one of the only brawlers that doesn't use a pronoun in his description. And for a second, I thought that everything I knew was a lie, and that Sandy was actually a girl, but he does use the pronoun his in his first gadget. As you can see here, Sandy falls asleep for 2 seconds, and his health is fully restored. But continuing on here, but let's debunk the Amber theory. Number one, looking at the Fall Guys, we can see Carl, Ems, and Edgar. Carl for the trophy picture, Ems for the bandage, but why Edgar? Because the dark substance was nail polish, so it couldn't have been oil. The hand could be Sandy's too, and he wasn't at the party either, and Amber only has one skin, Amber de la Vega, which as we can see in the Gold Arm Gang animation was a hero that attempted to stop Belle and her gang from robbing the bank. But of course, there's the point of Virus 8-Bit referring to the culprit as she. But here's the thing, if you recall, there was a lot of people, including me, who assumed that Sandy was a girl when he was released, and I think it would be absolutely hilarious to have Virus 8-Bit, Dark Lord Spike, Evil Gene, and Archvillain B to have assumed that Sandy was a girl and never asked them if they were a guy. Mix that with the fact that he was the only male brawler left at the end, and I think that tells us who the real person who stole the trophy was, or at least that's what I personally think it is. Now, I know what you guys are thinking, and I thought the same exact thing when I first saw this theory. It might be a little bit of a reach, but I think it's a pretty solid explanation as to why Sandy was left over when all the guys disappeared at the very end of the animation. Could Dark Lord Spike and all the other evil characters in this lair misread that Sandy was indeed a guy? I did the same exact thing when he was released, so hey, you never know. But wrapping up here with the final things that Tyrannical says about all of this, at the very top, it doesn't explain the laser which cut the glass, or why Nani and Pam were in Tara's vision, but I'm assuming that that will be revealed in August or September's episodes, since those are the only months left with the championship left. Just some other things that I noticed was that there was also this image behind Archvillain B, but I have no idea what it is. Aruxa suggested that it was this, and it does kind of look like that with the cape and pose, and I agree. I thought it was that when I first saw the animation as well. We have Mortis overlooking all the different environments, and I believe it was a fan-made picture that was posted to the Instagram, the Brawl Stars Instagram there, and all over. So I think it's definitely safe to say things are getting pretty dang wild here as we're wrapping up this part 5 of the missing trophy. The people who are suspected to steal the trophy are being slimmed down to only a handful of different brawlers. Tyrannical thinking that it's Sandy in the end because the evil people are misreading Sandy for being a girl instead of a guy, and it would make sense because he's left at the very end of the video as all the guys disappear. It's an interesting theory. But with that being said, before we transition into the next part, I want to ask all of you guys, who do you think it's going to be in the end? Who stole the trophy? I'm still a little up in the air. I could see it being Sandy, Tara, or Amber. It can be any of them, or we might just get a curveball in the end. It might be someone completely different. Maybe this villain character, which we mentioned in the last episode where we broke down part 4 of the animation, which I do want to get into a little bit here as well at the end. So Tyrannical points out at the very end of his analysis, myself agreeing with him saying this, oh, and I still think we'll be getting a supervillain update since Brawl Stars has been releasing comics with issue numbers along with questions of which superpower you'd rather have. I know some of them aren't that recent, but Supercell has been known to plan updates months in advance, and this wasn't a one-time thing since they're still doing it. So I'm sure I'm not the only one that that tried to make some connections with these types of photos that Brawl Stars posts out, almost like comic books where two brawlers are kind of battling it out. In this circumstance, they're saying, which would you rather go for, Surge's power or resistance from Rosa? It's an interesting idea, and I really don't think that this is the only evidence that is pointing to like a super villain update around the corner. Though it might be a very long ways off, it makes a ton of sense. I mean, heck, we saw in this last animation the supervillains actually conspiring together to try to put an end to this world finals that is happening here in a little bit. And on top of that, we've had an update that was surrounding superheroes with the season 2 of the Brawl Pass. A lot of centralized focus on Max being a superhero as well as Surge being released here in the game. And I think someone in the comments said it best in the last episode of this trophy breakdown, and that is, you can't have a superhero without a supervillain. You can't have a superhero update without a supervillain update. But yeah, everyone, that's just about it here for today's video. A bit of a longer one. Things are most definitely getting very, very interesting, and I am expecting a climax here shortly, seeing that we do only have 2 more months until the World Finals. So 2 more episodes of this animation before we find the culprits, and I'll make sure to keep you guys in the loop on who the culprit actually is once we know it. But yeah, everyone, hope you all enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to slap a like on it. I'd really appreciate that. Have an absolutely fantastic rest of your day. Keep having fun with Brawl Stars, and we'll see you in the next video. Adios, everybody.